Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Jamestown. We are ecstatic to be here, for you to be here, and for us to host the summit, the Governor's Summit on Innovative Education. As Levi said, my name is Rob Lech. I serve as a superintendent here. And I have to say that I hope that over the next 2 days that you are supported in your beliefs, that you're challenged in your beliefs, and that you take the time to enjoy this experience, take it back to your buildings, okay? This is not an opportunity for you to extend that small sphere of influence. We want you to take those pockets of excellence and continue to expand them throughout your districts, throughout your buildings, and in your departments. So that is great that you are here, but we want you to be part of something greater. I think it's important to recognize who we have in the audience today. So if you could, and just for everybody to notice, can you stand up if you're a teacher? How about if you're a school board member? We have school board members here. How about building principals? I know we have some of you. I've seen we have some legislators. How about government officials? Department of Public Instruction, Governor's Office, other folks. So I do that because I want you to recognize that there are a broad swath of people here that are all devoted to these topics. If you can find bigger rocks, bigger things for us to address in our profession right now than being innovative in instruction and education in our schools and in behavioral health, I'm not sure what they are. So I think it's important that we take the time to recognize these are important topics that we need to, again, bring back home. Let's not be that pocket of excellence. Let's spread and grow that sphere of influence. This is my 16th year as a superintendent in the great state of North Dakota. And I'm proud to say that in our state, education is a priority. And it's not just rhetoric. It's not just people talking about education. There's support. We're building a foundation for support in our state in education. And I also want to take an opportunity to recognize Governor Doug Burgum. This is a wonderful opportunity for us as educators to grow in our craft, to become better, but support is one thing. Like I said, in our state, we've had great support for education, but there's a difference between building support and challenging us to be better. And I think we need to recognize, and if we could do that, I would like to recognize Governor Doug Burgum for taking that opportunity to be courageous and challenging us to be better than who we are. So can we recognize Governor Burgum? And I also want to take the time to recognize our First Lady, Catherine Burgum, Jamestown native. Go Blue Jays. For being that courageous champion in her support for behavioral health challenges. And so I also wanted for us to recognize the First Lady for her work in supporting one of our biggest challenges, and that is behavioral health. So if you haven't seen this short video before, I want you to enjoy it. It's terrible quality, but I want you to enjoy the process. And I will give you a clue. I was looking for this video earlier. Your tech guys are going to freak out if you just Google shirtless dancing guy. Might have some cleaning of your browser history, but we got it. But outside of what our narrator says about innovation, it takes about 3 minutes, so bear with it. But there's also some important lessons about innovation that we can learn from this very short video from the shirtless dancing guy. I love Michael Fullen. If you haven't had a chance to read anything that Michael Fullen has done, he talks about capacity building, for systems change? How do you make large-scale change? And one of his primary drivers is capacity building. That is why you are here. You are here to build capacity in yourself, but like I said, it isn't enough just to build capacity in yourself. It's not enough to have local, very small influence. Take this opportunity to grow as an individual and think about how you're going to bring that back, and I think this video is a great way to do that. Remember that the leadership lessons that we learned from the shirtless dancing guy, one of the key areas, leadership isn't about the title that you hold. You're here, so I think you know that. Leadership isn't a title that you're given. It's not department chairs, it's not superintendents, it's not building principals, it's not assistant principals. It's about what you do with the opportunities and experiences that you have, and how do you grow others, and how do you start movements in your building. So, is there audio here too? You'll have to trust me, it's a little bit better with the audio. So really what you're seeing here is an opportunity to start a movement. As our narrator talks, this is simply one guy in the middle of what I'm guessing is a music festival, starting a movement. With just him, he's simply one lone nut.
To follow.
Here we go.
Now here comes the first follower with a crucial role. He publicly shows everyone else how to follow. Notice how the leader embraces him as an equal. So it's not about the leader anymore, it's about them, plural. Notice how he's calling to his friends to join in. See, it takes guts to be a first follower. You stand out and you brave ridicule yourself. Being a first follower is an underappreciated form of leadership. The first follower transforms a lone nut into a leader. If the leader is the flint, the first follower is the spark that really makes the fire. Now here's the second follower. This is a turning point. It's proof the first has done well. Now it's not a lone nut and it's not two nuts. 3 is a crowd and a crowd news. A movement must be public. Make sure outsiders see more than just the leader. Everyone needs to see the followers because new followers emulate followers, not the leader. Now here come 2 more people, then 3 more immediately. Now we've got momentum. This is the tipping point, and now we have a movement. As more people jump in, it's no longer risky. If they were on the fence before, there's no reason not to join in now. They won't stand out, they won't be ridiculed, and they will be part of the in crowd if they hurry. And over the next minute, you'll see the rest who prefer to stay part of the crowd, because eventually they'd be ridiculed for not joining. And ladies and gentlemen, that is how a movement is made. So let's recap what we've learned. If you are a version of the shirtless dancing guy, all alone, remember the importance of nurturing your first few followers as equals, making everything clearly about the movement, not you. Be public, be easy to follow. But the biggest lesson here, did you catch it? Leadership is overglorified. Yes, it started with the shirtless guy, and he'll get all the credit, but you saw what really happened. It was the first follower that transformed a lone nut into a leader. There's no movement without the first follower. See, we're told that we all need to be leaders, but that would be really ineffective. The best way to make a movement, if you really care, is to courageously follow and show others how to follow. When you find a lone nut doing something great, have the guts to be the first person to stand up and join in.
I think that's great. That is 3 minutes on how to start a movement, right? Here's the deal. Additional lessons learned outside of, really good messages that the narrator had. And he said leadership is overglorified, and I think what he's trying to say is titles are overglorified. There's lots of different types of leadership that were exhibited just in that very short video. I want you to embrace who you are. It's okay to not be the shirtless dancing guy. It's okay to not be the first follower, the second follower. It's okay to be part of the crowd. Just move the bar. Be whoever you are, be at the comfort level you are, but be willing to open your mind and move the bar. Don't be complacent, don't be that pocket of excellence. Ultimately, be courageous and have fun. I don't believe that you, the people in this room, different stakeholders in education, get enough credit for evolving and changing with the times. I don't think we do that. We get enough credit in education for being that. There's a necessary connection between the values of the community and what's represented in school. There has to be a natural congruence there. And so I don't think you get the credit that you deserve. But if we're being honest, we don't move as quickly as we should all the time. And I just want to show just a couple of different examples in history from that very idea. But sometimes we need to recalibrate and make sure that we are being future focused. So this comes from a journal from the Principals Association, 1815. Students today depend upon paper too much. They don't know how to write on a slate without getting chalk dust all over themselves. They can't clean a slate properly. What will they do when they run out of paper? 1907, National Association of Teachers. Students today depend upon ink, depend too much upon ink. They don't know how to use a penknife to sharpen a pencil. Pen and ink will never replace the pencil. 1929, I think you see a trend. Students today depend upon store-bought ink. They don't know how to make their own. When they run out of ink, they'll be unable to write words or ciphers until their next trip to the settlement. That might be my favorite. This is a sad commentary on public education, on modern education. The PTA Gazette, 1941, students today depend upon these expensive fountain pens. They can no longer write with the straight pen and nib, not to mention sharpen their own quills. We parents must not allow them to wallow in such luxury to the detriment of learning how to cope in the real business world, which is not so extravagant. 1950, federal teacher, ballpoint pens will be the ruin of education in our country. Students use these devices and then throw them away. The American virtues of thrift and frugality are being discarded. Businesses and banks will never allow such expensive luxuries. From our perspective, being in the present, those are ridiculous statements. Let's put ourselves, we recognize that we are educating for the future, at least we talk about that. But sometimes we need to recalibrate and say, are we really future focused? Let's not add our own quotes to these statements from educational journals in the last 100 years. Our second day is the day I'm truly excited for. And that is, we're spending the full day tomorrow talking about behavioral health needs. As I said earlier, there is probably no bigger challenge for us right now than this topic. And I am so excited to think about what we're going to learn about tomorrow across that continuum of care from promotion, prevention, treatment, and recovery. I'm excited to learn right alongside you as we take on this big challenge. So my challenge to you is enjoy it. Enjoy these next 2 days. Take an opportunity to learn from some of the brightest stars in North Dakota education. And I ask that you be that lever for change in your district. Again, welcome to Jamestown High School, and welcome to the Buffalo City.